Another option you have for guitar using double stops is a concept called or known as sixths. Sixths. It's not talked about and it's not used too much in modern music, but it is something that you can do. And so I want to kind of go over it with you. So you remember we looked at thirds, we looked at fifths, octaves, tenths, which are another form of thirds. Then last lesson we looked at inverted thirds. Well, there's an interval called sixths that can be used, and it relates directly with this same pattern that we already have. And watch this. This is really cool. But a couple things before we get to that is there are two types of sixths, just like there's two types of thirds. Let me write this. Two types of sixths. There is a regular six, or known as a major six. I'll just call them major sixth. And there is a minor sixth. Minor sixth. And a minor sixth is another way I like to think of it is a flatted six. A flatted six rather than a normal six that would occur in the major scale interval. Okay, and so what happens is when you're looking at sixths, chords 1, 2, 4, 5 use major sixths or normal sixths. Minor sixths are going to be chords 3, chord 6, and chord 7. These will use the minor sixth or a flatted sixth. Okay? And an easy way to visually see this is watch. If we were to go here, you remember in the last video we made two major scales. We made one major scale on the B string here, which this was the one note. That was the root. And then we made a major scale on this D string, and at that time, this note was the 1. And for the inverted third, we basically use the notes on this B string as the root, and the notes on this D string were the thirds. Well, it's going to change. It's going to flip for sixths. So instead of this note right here is going to be 1. That's the root. And these groupings is exactly the same as they were with inverted thirds. So what you have is this grouping here is the one chord when using or playing sixths. And this note or this pair of notes, that's the 2 chord. This is the 3 chord. This is the 4. This is the 5. And this is the same as an octave lower here. So this is the 5. This is the 6. This is the 7 chord. So if you were to play this over chord progression, you're going to notice that it's going to sound kind of different. We're not really used to hearing this interval of sixths, but as you experiment, you're going to find that for some of the chords, they sound actually pretty good. And so it's just another option for creativity purposes for you if you want to explore this to get that kind of sixth sound. You can use it in different parts of the song so that, you know, it's just another way of playing chords that'll sound maybe even more unique than how normally they are. But the one thing I want you to notice, look at this. Now, you remember we looked at chords 1, 2, 4, 5 are the major 6. So 1, 2, 4, 5 are the major. So when you're looking at sixths, this position, which when we were looking at inverted thirds was the minor third, it flips. Now this is the major sixth. And then this pattern, which was the major third, right? Now that becomes the chords 3, 6, and 7. That becomes the minor sixth or the flatted sixth. So it just flip-flops, just from completely opposite from the thirds. And the other cool thing you can do with this too is just like before, you can use this +2 concept as you're playing to the chords and switching along, okay? So there you go, sixth.